Organizations Win Championships, a Chicago Bulls podcast with Jason and Dan Bernstein on 312 Sports.
It's the Organizations Win Championships podcast here on 312. The Bernsteins with you, and we heard it yesterday. We heard both the owner of the Bulls and the newly minted, just unveiled EVP of basketball operations use that word championships.
EVP for my bunghole.
EVP. That he used the word championships.
Mm-hmm.
And then the guy he hired used the word championship. So I will say, by that measurement, that's a success. You set the tone there. Actually say it. Hear yourself saying that word. Now, on DBU today, I gave a lot of my thoughts about how I felt about the rollout. You watched it.
Yeah.
What were your impressions?
Well done. I thought it was professional, and I think that Graham handled himself so well. And when he was asked tough questions, he acknowledged that they were tough questions and that he doesn't want to answer them. And that's okay sometimes. But at the same time, especially when they asked him about the personnel right now, and he just said, look, I don't want to disrespect any of the guys, but nobody's untouchable. You know, that's what I wanted to hear, is honesty. He seemed very honest, and I'm also glad that Michael apologized in a sense for, he actually said, I'm sorry to all the Bulls fans for being mediocre.
And what I found out was, too, he was not coached to do that.
Really?
That was him.
Interesting. Good.
I don't think I'm talking out of school here. That he presented that and sort of ran it by people who he trusts.
Mm-hmm.
And Michael Reinsdorf came and said, I want to do this. That was his decision.
That's good.
Well, and then I think about it too. It didn't there. It's risky. That isn't an easy call.
No, not for somebody like that to do.
Because you better be convincing. And I thought, to me, that's what won the day.
Really?
Was how genuine it was. I believed him when he said, I'm sorry and I want to win and we're going to do whatever it takes. I believe him.
And honestly, I think he proved that as well when they talked about the luxury tax. I don't remember.
Good point.
I don't remember who asked him that. I don't think it was KC.
Cowley?
I don't remember, but whoever did it talked about, are you willing to go in the luxury tax for this team? And he said, look, I'm not going to do it if we're not a playoff team, and that makes total sense. But he said, if we're competing for championships, note the plural, he said, I'm fully okay with it. And I think that shows a commitment more than the 6 years or whatever with the AK regime.
And even if he would have done the same thing for AK, and I'm sure somewhere that was also, I don't remember specifically exactly what was said, but I don't think anything other than that was ever presumed.
No.
That there was never like, oh, the Bulls will never do this. I do think that when they were bad or when they were mediocre, they were looking for ways to not be in the tax when they really weren't competitive.
Yeah. And what, I don't know if I'm so used to Bryson DeChambeau where I say Bryson as if so I need to say Graham. But when Graham was talking about winning championships, and something I noted was that even though he said we're not starting from ground zero, he said that this year's draft is going to be the real foundation of everything, because they have 4 picks. And I found that really interesting, because I know he said that there are some solid pieces, but based on what he said about the untouchables, regarding untouchables, there aren't any on this roster. And with him saying this year's draft, you know, there's a lot going on with that, and you never know what'll happen in the lottery. They'll probably end up picking 9th in the East. I mean, not in the East, but 9th. I thought that was really interesting, because they do have 4 draft picks, and I thought it was hysterical when he kind of chuckled and said, "Yeah, we have 4 draft picks this year. We own every single one of our picks for a lot of the next years, and we have a lot of second round picks." I thought that was, and he chuckled. I thought that was hysterical, and I don't know if that was a shot directly at AK, but I read it as such.
It depends which way it cuts, though, because remember, one of the ironies to the AK end was that he never believed in second round picks. He didn't like second round picks as an asset. And then he trades away half the team for nothing but second round picks.
Right. And then you look at Ayo Dosunmu right now, who is just, he was hurt, so he has a calf thing. And we know what happens with calf injuries. So wishing him the best, really don't want to see anything happen. But you look at what he was doing in the playoffs. I know the Hornets didn't make it, but Kobe White in that play-in game versus the Heat, I mean, come on. Dude was on fire.
And they had to give a second round pick back in the Kobe White trade because they screwed that up with how injured he might have been. But it was, I think refreshing is a good word for what that was, and genuine. I get the feeling, and I know people who know Bryson Graham a lot better than I do, but I get the feeling that he just seems very comfortable in his own skin.
Yeah.
And not trying to be something he's not. At 39, it would
He's young, man.
Right, but it would be real easy to feel like you have to always overcome your youth.
Yeah.
Or in a situation like this, you've got to say, here's why I'm ready, or here's why I'm older than my years.
I don't think that that's very relevant anymore, because you see so many guys, and mostly with head coaches. I understand that. Not really guys that are in the front office. Even then, I just think that the league has changed so much that it really helps to have a younger guy come in and say, look, this might have worked in the past, whatever this quote unquote is, but this is what works now. And this is what we need to get to, because he said it himself, how competitive the league is now. Everybody has something except for the Bulls. So I think it's a good thing that they went younger, and not because of, I think it's cool that he seems hungry, and he said he cried after he got the job, but I do think that it's trending in that way. And that's most sports too. Football as well. All these head coaches are 35. And something I noticed, well, going along the football note, his pacing of the way he talked sounded exactly like Ryan Poles. And I don't know if it's just because he's a Chicago executive and I've seen Ryan Poles talk a lot, but I feel like the way he spoke his cadence was so similar. And, Poles he hasn't been perfect, but he's done well enough to be successful at rebuilding this Bears team to make them a force. So
there's a little bit to that. I think he sounds more upbeat than Ryan Poles. Like there's a difference between
football guys and basketball guys.
Yeah, there's a little more of a jauntiness to him.
Yeah, a little more jazzy, I would say. But that's basketball.
Yeah, there's an easier smile, I think. And the other thing I asked somebody who would know was, I said, and this is important to me, does Bryson Graham have a sense of humor?
Interesting.
And I was told, yes.
Good.
It is good.
Really is.
You have to. You absolutely have to. This is
you can't be Ivan Drago up in there. That's kind of what I'm saying. But
the thing is, it always bugged me about AK. AK does have a sense of humor. It just never came through. It never came through in what he did. It never came through, and he's just so dryly funny. He can be I will always lament that AK didn't let us in more.
Yeah.
That he didn't allow his personality to come through, that he never really relaxed. There was something that always seemed aloof or different, and maybe there's a language barrier still in that.
Could be.
But there's a personality, and I think part of what you're saying about youth has to do with not just relating to players, but also relating to their families and everybody around them, and being able to come off as somebody other than some faceless suit at the top of an organization. I think understanding the NBA as a business relationship and personal relationship business existing in a way like it never has before because of how empowered players are.
Oh, yeah.
Unlike in other leagues.
And I think it's worth noting when we were talking about the draft so much, players are like college players are empowered now.
And more polished than ever.
Yeah. So I think not only does it matter with the players, I like currently in the NBA, I think it's worth talking about NIL in this sense.
Yes.
Because these college guys they're going to come in, and if I'm talking about maybe not, AJ DeBonsa, because he's going to go number 1 overall. So, well, hopefully not if the Bulls get number 2. So I'm talking about guys that are maybe 15th overall, kind of super senior guys who could say, look, why do I want to play for you when I could be making more in school next year in a 5th year? Like, they can ask those questions now. They're more powerful. And I think having somebody younger in that sense really helps. And I really, really, really enjoyed listening to Graham speak. And
it's also getting along with families. And he made a point of that too. He said it's really important of not just being able to relate to players, but being able to relate to them and their families and understanding what their families need. That's an important point that I think the Bulls have to get better. They also, a critical aspect of his work is
you're saying Graham. Okay.
Is confronting the Bulls' bad reputation medically.
Yeah.
It's big and it matters a lot.
Yeah, it's like Baltimore, man.
It's a huge drag on them right now. Where you've got to find out why and what and work on your internal league-wide PR. Mm-hmm. And you've got to send the message through important players that your body will be taken care of properly here.
Yeah, because Dillingham, Kobe White,
Anthony Simons,
Ivy,
Yes. God, and that's just the newest stuff, because this goes back. This goes back to Luol Deng and the spinal tap and the active rest.
Don't say spinal tap, otherwise I'll be A minor.
It's D minor.
Sorry.
D minor makes people, it's the saddest of all keys.
Makes people weep instantly.
Right. It's a lovely song. What do you call it?
Oh, this piece is called "Lick My Love Pump."
Done.
Sorry, I can't.
I know, but it really does matter. That matters, and as much as they think they've got this great reputation, they've got a great brand, and they're
they talked about
and they're well thought of among fans. But there's a lot of repair that needs to be done within the league itself, and the way the Bulls are talked about relative to other teams.
And they were talking about potentially looking at free agency this year because they have a ton of money. And
he did not commit to anything.
No, he didn't. But I'm just saying, free agent walks in, this offseason. Let's say, for example, just because I really like him and I think the Bulls could potentially get him, Peyton Watson from Denver. He'll probably command a little bit more than $20 million a year.
That's fine. That's what Patrick Williams is making. Give him the Patrick Williams money.
But if he comes in, I think he's had a little bit of injury history. I don't know if it's that bad, but I remember he was out for a little bit. If he could just say, why do I want to come here if your doctors suck? They would have to answer that. So I think
and maybe they don't, but there's the perception.
Exactly, and that matters.
So that's
what it is.
All that matters is the perception.
Yeah. And so we'll see what happens there. And you mentioned before he was hired that during the interview process, he wanted Reinsdorf to basically say to the next guy, what do you need? And Reinsdorf answered that.
He used those words.
He used those words exactly. I don't know if he listens to this podcast. Who knows? But he said if Bryson says we need more resources for XYZ, I can do everything in my power to do that.
Or we need to rebuild this department from scratch.
Yeah.
We need to hire 3 more directors of analytics. We've got to totally revamp our international scouting. I mean, everything.
Yeah.
And I said this morning. When you move and you realize all the shit you have to throw out.
Yeah.
That's what
I went through that yesterday.
Consider it like a spring cleaning. And do I still have, this is still here?
No,
this is still lying around?
I looked at my Jazz Donovan Mitchell jersey. I'm like, why the fuck is this in my room?
Oh, you got to keep your Jazz Donovan Mitchell
I'm keeping
jersey.
it. It's more of a it's like a collector's item, but I'm not gonna bring it back to school next year because I didn't wear it once.
Okay, well, you got a lot of decisions to make regarding that because you don't have as much room next year.
No, I think I have more personal space.
Okay.
Because it's an apartment. It's not a.
I know. Just you're not going to have all sorts of wild parties there, are you?
No. No, we have a hot tub in the backyard, so we might have some people over.
I know you have I can't believe you have a senior year hot tub in the backyard in the middle of New Orleans. This is not good. Just no guns.
No guns, and I was more concerned about glass. That's what
don't let anybody
was.
In with guns. Just don't. Because I
don't
know.
Why not? Guns are cool.
I don't know who you're hanging out with in the middle of New Orleans. I don't know who your friends are.
We're right by. You know who my friends are.
Maybe I don't know, but maybe Nolan and Elliot show up packing one day, and they're like Gilbert Arenas.
Nolan's from Boston. He wouldn't do that, but Elliot's a real New Orleans guy. So Elliot might be like, "Hey, check this shit out."
Like Javaris Crittenden. Do you remember that when they brought their Desert Eagles into the locker room? Remember that?
And I was thinking about Gilbert Arenas.
Yes, Gilbert Arenas was one of them, and they both had these huge guns. My favorite part of that story was Steven Jackson.
Oh, great podcast, by the way. He's awesome.
And Steven Jackson commented on that story. He's like, even I wouldn't have done that. It was great. It was like, wait, guns in the locker? This is a guy who I think was shooting a gun in the parking lot of a strip club at one point. But he was like, guns in even I wouldn't do that. So it was really
That's
fun.
awesome. All right, back to your regularly scheduled programming. Go ahead.
A couple things I wanted to get to. One, we have to again start talking about some of the names for next coach here.
Yeah.
So let me.
He mentioned one.
Who?
Monty Williams said was his mentor. I don't know if they want to go that route.
I didn't even realize it.
He said Monty Williams
is a free agent, isn't he?
Oh, yeah. Because he got fired by Detroit after.
That was a disaster.
Yeah.
After Phoenix, because he did a really good job in Phoenix.
Great job. I never understood why they fired him. But.
Was that after Ishbia took over and just wanted his own guy?
Yeah. Because I was like, because they made the finals. They took the Bucks to 6 games.
Do you look past the Detroit thing?
It's tough because of what they did in the 2 years with Bickerstaff, you know.
But you're right. He did. Monty Williams. That gets
it's a name. It's a name. I think it's worth looking at. Who else is a free agent?
Well, let me give you the odds right now.
Tibbs is a free agent.
Steve Kerr is a free agent.
Budenholzer is a free agent, right?
Taylor Jenkins.
Yeah, I like Taylor Jenkins.
Johnny Bryant, the lead assistant from the Cavaliers.
Okay.
Darvin Ham.
Ugh.
Yeah. Sam Cassell.
Yeah, I like Sam Cassell, although
it'll be fun though. I know you.
No, but how about the 2-3-1 leads being choked?
Yeah. Right.
Oh, I was giving Nolan some shit because he was telling me, I told him that I think Detroit was going to win the East, and he's a Boston guy, so he was saying, Detroit's going to lose by the second round, and so they went down 3-1. The Celtics going up 3-1. He was like, yeah, Jason, not looking so good, huh? And then it just turned around. And I looked at him. The Bruins lost the night before the Celtics lost Game 7, and they got eliminated on back-to-back days. And I said, well, how'd those Red Sox doing? And they're just terrible.
And all their coaches are running around with their pants off. Right? Stop doing that. Ime Udoka.
Oh my God,
Mike Vrabel.
So in the hullabaloo, I wrote an article about the Rossini thing, and I tried so hard not to make it super. I couldn't make it jokey because it was a news story, but I said,
if it's a column?
No, it was just like a
story.
Yeah. And I said, Boston coaches recently have had some struggles with their personal relationships.
Apparently so. I don't know. Now we got
what's worse, Udoka or this?
They're both bad, but Udoka was like somebody else's wife in the office, and Nia Long. So that's pretty bad.
Yeah, but this one's getting worse and worse. Belichick is just dating a crazy person who's 25 and waiting for him to die.
It's not.
Do you think that's why mom's married to you?
But not for those reasons. I mean, she
might be waiting for you to die.
Sure, she happens to be dating a crazy person, but that's not why she married me. She didn't know that that's what she was getting into. But
you said you were just as crazy.
Do you remember, no, it's like Anna Nicole Smith. Do you remember that whole thing?
No.
Anna Nicole Smith married this guy who was like 97 years old, this incredibly wealthy guy who was
That's awesome.
He was like farting dust in the middle of their wedding ceremony.
I'll do that in mine. I'll be 28.
So after Darvin Ham and Sam Cassell, the next one on the list is Wes Unseld Jr., who is
makes sense.
Current bull. He's certainly reasonable.
Reasonable, but I doubt it just because.
Then the name that was rumored to be associated with Matt Lloyd had Matt Lloyd gotten the job, and that's Micah Nori.
He did well with that Timberwolves team when Chris Finch got his knee busted into a million pieces.
After that, James Borrego, who you brought up on Monday. With
where the Bulls are, and I'm only talking about this because I unfortunately watched a lot of New Orleans Pelicans basketball. Although they were fun, especially late in the year when DeJounte was healthy and Zion was healthy. They were a fun team, and they were winning some games. They really started to play well because they realized they had nothing to play for. Because Bryson got that because Bryson fleeced them after he left. Mm-hmm. But I when I look at where the Bulls are and where the Pelicans were this season, even though they didn't have their pick, similar rebuilding stage. Really, a lot of young players. They do have an established talent in Murray. Williamson, even though he's not always healthy, and he's probably not the best player on a championship team. Good player, man. When he's fast. When he wants to run. So I think that with what Borrego did after Willie Green left was so much better than what Willie Green.
What did he do?
Development, man. And I don't know how much development you can do with Derek Queen, but what I saw out of Jeremiah Fears late in the season, that he got better. And I also just love his game. But there were a lot of guys that I noticed when Borrego took over that you just kind of looked and said, who's that? And they would make a couple plays. I've been on the Carlo Matkovic train.
You've always loved Matkovic.
But that's awesome.
But that gets back to something we've mentioned throughout watching Bulls basketball.
Yeah.
I want the Bulls to be the team where people are like,
right.
Oh, there's another one. They found another one.
Yeah.
And
like Bryce McGowan's was really, you love that name.
Bryce McGowan.
Before he got hurt, he was playing some good ball.
Let's take that to another level here.
So I like that James Borrego name.
Okay. All right.
Jordan Hawkins was solid as well. That Micah Peavy.
That's the Georgia Tech guy.
That you're thinking of Alvarado because Alvarado's on the Knicks. You know that Bryson Graham was the guy that saw Alvarado and was like, "Hey, this guy's pretty good."
But Peavy is the defensive guy, right?
Georgetown,
yeah, and he was I remember
second rounder.
Yes,
he was a senior, so that's probably why he went so late.
But a tough defender.
Yeah.
So, and that's the thing about Graham is that when you are on your resume, when you're talking about Herbert Jones and some of these guys, when he sees that kind of toughness, I know we've got the acronym. He did say that SLAP is how he looks for players. He didn't say that's how we're going to run our team through this acronym.
Eberflus.
But he said,
wait, Powdered Toast Man is behind me.
He is. Leave him alone. He said,
I showed that bit to my friends, by the way, and they said, what the fuck are you showing me? I said, come on, guys.
You showed the original.
Oh, yeah.
Like the Powdered Toast Man from Ren.
Yeah, we got back from a night out, and so we were just watching YouTube. I said, we need to watch this video.
And they're like, you're weird, kid.
Yes, correct.
SLAP stands for size, length, athleticism, and physicality.
That's how I describe my penis. Or evaluate, I should say.
I slap's the right word then. So he said,
I also call it my pal.
I suggested Alps would have been better with the whole
Laps,
Sound of Music thing. You
pals,
could do Alps.
laps, Alps,
the
slap.
If in fact you can do what he said he wanted, and he did. He let you in a little bit yesterday, did Graham, when he said, I think it was Sam Smith who was asking the question and said something about how do you envision having all of these like similarly sized, similarly skilled players or positionally, and he said, who's the point guard of the Celtics? He said, you can't really tell me who the point guard is.
They got one guy that I can really think of, and he's not really a point guard.
He said JT brings it up sometimes.
Derek White.
He said JB brings it up sometimes. Derek White can bring it up.
Pritchard.
Porzingis.
Yeah. Porzingis is on the Hawks.
Not Porzingis.
Warriors.
Who was it? He mentioned another name. He mentioned several players
Hauser?
who are capable of bringing the ball up, and you don't know who's playing what position.
Vucevic surely couldn't because he didn't see the floor.
Dude.
Oh, Boston fans hate him.
He can't play anymore.
No.
And we knew that. He if you needed a statement of they needed bigs and they couldn't put him in.
Yeah.
They couldn't play him because he's not fast enough and can't jump.
Yeah.
That was really what.
Because who did they put in along with Kada? Who started that game? I mean, Baylor Shireman started that
Game.
It was Luka Garza.
Who
started a game.
Luka Garza, who's.
We thought he was like a two-way guy forever. He's all right though. He's better than Vucevic.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. Never been a fan of Luka Garza.
Great college player.
Yeah, terrific college player. But when he said that, and then he was talking about how if you have everybody who's 6'8" or 6'10", and everybody is all those things, if everybody has size, athleticism, length, and physicality, and he said if all of a sudden your wings can switch on to bigs, now that's dangerous.
I'm trying to think of, and just out of sheer curiosity, I'm just trying to think of the Bulls roster. Are there really any guys that like that? I think there's only
Lenny.
Yeah, and if Modest gets stronger, he could definitely do that.
Yeah,
I don't know if Leonard Miller could bring the ball up the floor.
I'm saying he could fit that definition.
Yeah, he could.
He has size, length, athleticism, and if he can really learn that physicality.
No, and he's got great. If you want to add another P to the end of that and add pace, I think that's really important. And he has a really good mental clock, or a really good register of when to go and when to slow down. And I think no, it's not easy. I think pace is an incredibly important part of the game now, as much as it has ever been.
Right, but I think people hear pace and they think you're just talking about maximizing possessions.
Right.
But what you're talking about is playing at the appropriate speed.
It's almost like when in 2017 when you watched Le'Veon Bell run a football and he would kind of sit. You would have to have a great offensive line. But I'm doing that as an example because it's easy to picture, where he would sit and then go. Knowing when to go is quite important.
And how to stop using a decel.
Mm-hmm.
Like these guys who can burst.
Io's great at it.
Yep.
Kobe White's pretty good at it too, or
Tyrese Maxey. Good luck with that, man. Although they're in tough. Why don't we let's finish with the Bulls before we look at just some playoff observations here. Noah Asenge reportedly
grew 3 inches or whatever. Did you see that?
This reminds me of
Giannis.
Players getting to spring training in baseball, and we hear, the best shape of his life. He's never been in better shape.
Yeah, Zach Veen for the Rockies this year. Like, he put on 50 pounds, and they showed a picture of it, and I'm like, drug test that man.
Immediately.
Oh, my God. but he looks like he could be doing like a Mr. Olympia or something. Really? Oh, my God. He had a full arm sleeve tattoo, and I'm like, he probably does not like his Dominican teammates very much.
So when you have a Noah Asenge who is 6'10" now,
He was 6'9". He's close to 7 feet.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a child. Of course he's still growing.
Right, but what if that becomes a thing?
Yeah, but that might make it harder for him to put on weight.
I don't care if you're 7 feet tall and all of a sudden we're thinking of you as a big instead of a wing.
Yeah, maybe that changes the way Graham thinks about him if he's 7 feet tall.
Absolutely.
Because he's not a bad mover. He moves well. He just doesn't know how to play basketball. So
correct.
When he was talking about, he said that they're in a developmental stage.
He said they have to get out of the mud.
Yes, I heard that too.
They got to dig out of the mud.
I don't want to be controversial, but I love having a black guy run the team, man.
Well, that's not really controversial. I think it's a step in the right direction.
I'm not saying like culturally and for social impact. I'm just saying
relationships.
I think relationships is one thing, and white people are so boring, man. I sound like the Big Lebowski, but
yeah,
I can't stand watching white general managers talk. I just can't. They're so annoying to listen to, and I never got bored listening to Graham talk. I thought he was awesome. And I know he did it so sparingly, but when AK was talking, and I know he has that Lithuanian accent, but it was just...
put you to sleep.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it put you to sleep.
That's what white people do.
Let me give you one other quick name here as a coaching candidate that
Budenholzer's not on there.
Casey Johnson gave us, and that is Sean Sweeney, who is a Spurs assistant.
Can't go wrong with any of those.
It's
man.
Right. Like, I don't know that if you're ever going to make a mistake going from the Popovich tree and through Micah Johnson, and that Sean Sweeney has been a hot name. Absolutely. Interview everybody. Go ahead. Jarrett Jack's name is on here from the Pistons.
Wow.
Chris Quinn of the Miami Heat.
I saw that Rajon Rondo said he wanted to be a head coach.
Not yet. Not here. Not now. Not here yet.
No.
Mike Wilkes
Jarrett
of the Oklahoma
Jack.
City Thunder.
Oh my God. I haven't thought about that guy in so long.
Fat guard. Maybe the last one other than Kyle Lowry.
Yeah. I mean, that's like the Raymond Felton era.
Yeah. He might be.
That's one of my favorite chirps of all time on Bob Does Sports. They were doing a live stream for like a PGA Tour game because they were getting paid to do it. And FP, not Forward Progress. They have Fat Perez instead of Pat Perez. Yeah. And he's lost a ton of weight, but he was sitting there on his PlayStation. A message comes in. I don't know if it was through the PlayStation on Twitch. And someone just said, FP built like Raymond Felton. And Bob was sitting next to him, and he like a smoothie came out of his nose. He was sipping something, and it just went.
I hope he was sipping a smoothie if a smoothie came out of his nose.
It might have been a milkshake or a Frosty or something.
It'd be weird if he was sipping something else and a smoothie came out of his nose.
Oh, it was so funny. Raymond Felton, man. He's a
yes.
Khalid
El Amin.
Yeah, or the mean tweet about Zach Randolph when Zach Randolph is not in basketball shape, rather he is a basketball shape. So good.
The playoffs are continuing tonight. Let's get to some thoughts on sort of where we stand here. The Spurs just clobbered the T-Wolves, and I don't know what you do there now. That was one of those where you know who the better team is with the current condition the Wolves are in.
Yeah, because they're hurt.
Yeah.
It's tough. And I mean, I only played 10 minutes because they don't, especially in a game like that, you don't want to really burn someone. And
the Knicks are up 2-0 on the Sixers like that.
Yeah.
That didn't take very long all of a sudden for them. And who gave me this stat the other day about in the same number of seasons in the league?
Yeah.
That Shaquille O'Neal at the same point in his career had played double the minutes of Joel Embiid.
Say that one more time.
With the same number of years in the league, Shaquille O'Neal had played double the minutes. Double.
Yeah, no, I feel bad for Embiid because By the way, what a performance he had.
Yeah.
And it reminded me how good he is when he's healthy. I forgot because he's always hurt.
He's also huge.
He's humongous.
Yes.
Like he's built like a longer Andre Drummond, and he's also on that team. And he's not the fastest, but he's so strong
and coordinated.
It's unbelievable.
Okay.
He's so talented.
You know who else has turned it up? You know who else fits that description?
Who?
Cat.
Oh, yeah.
You can say there's sometimes maybe during the regular season where he's not quite interested.
Nah, he's good, man.
Everybody's interested now.
No, the East. We know that it's going to be Thunder Spurs, right? And that's
your title.
Yeah. No, it's not my title. I think somebody from the East could win. Yeah, it's tough, but. The Eastern Conference right now is really fun.
It's rugged.
It's a lot chippier than what's going on in the Western Conference.
Well, I think the officiating has been really good too.
Yeah, because they're letting them play. Do.
I think that they have allowed them to go beat each other up, and I think they're kind of taking it easy and not overreacting to some of the contact. Like I don't know if you saw the Max Strus headbutt. And,
no, I didn't.
And I thought easily they could have judged intent and kicked him out, but they've been really conservative when it comes it was excessive, but not dangerous. So flagrant one, they didn't kick anybody out. Like they're allowing for even edgier physical play now.
Good.
Yes.
It's the playoffs.
Yes.
Let it ride.
I agree.
Like let it almost be like hockey playoffs where if there's a little chippiness in front of the net after someone sprays your goalie, just separate them and keep going. Because sometimes they'll call a penalty in the regular season on that. But in the NHL playoffs, like there's chippiness in front of the net every single time the goalie freezes the puck. And I haven't seen a single penalty from it. Not one. And it's awesome. And I'm glad that the NBA is also letting them play.
What was the best chirp or anything you ever got as a goalie in one of those situations? Just out of curiosity.
Oh my God.
I'm just wondering because people used to come in and like kick you in the face and step on your fingers.
They wouldn't chirp me. They would just chirp my teammates after they came in because I honestly never cared because I knew it was part of the game. And I just sometimes thought it was funny that my teammates would, punch somebody.
Until the championship game when you had to tackle your own teammate.
Oh, I didn't tackle him.
Yes, you did. You jumped on his back.
Well, I jumped on his back because he's 6'4".
I know, but you jumped on his back in full pads and tried to pull him down before he took a penalty. I remember that.
Yeah,
it's the fastest you moved all year.
Oh, go bite me.
I've never seen you move like that. I'm like, holy crap, why's the goalie on his back? Okay. So we've got Cavs and Pistons with that's tonight. And Lakers Thunder. I think this is the end for the Lakers. I think
unless Luka comes back soon.
Is this it for LeBron? Do you think he's done?
I'd cry.
I know you would.
Would you?
I wouldn't cry, but I'd be disappointed.
I'd cry because I don't know the NBA without him.
I know you don't.
I want you to watch a video, by the way, about him and what he did in that first round and how remarkable it is.
He's
and I'll send that
41,
to you.
41. I know,
but there's some advanced stats in there, and it's ridiculous. You know who's been good? Javante. He's been good. Well, he helps that team a lot.
If you don't ask him to do too much,
they don't need him to.
He still is. And you used to say this about former Bull Troy Brown, I think, where his threes are
either all net or an air ball or like side of backboard.
Yeah, it's if it goes in, it's a dead swish, and if it misses, it's somewhere else.
Yeah, if Cade stops turning the ball over, that's a tough team. And
if Duran can get back to what he was pre All-Star break,
not even pre All-Star break, pre playoffs.
Yeah. He hasn't been the same. I don't know if he's hurt, and we don't know if he's hurt.
Could be like if he is, it'll come out after they get eliminated or whatever, and he'll just say, "Yeah, I was playing on a bum knee the whole time."
That's already happening in hockey with these teams getting I had a fracture.
Yeah, Will Campbell after
Will
Campbell after the Super Bowl was like, "Yeah, I played on the hyperextended left knee bone."
He couldn't block anybody.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Because
it was horrendous.
No, he's a left guard, and that's it. Sorry, but that's just the way it is.
All right, want to do the showdown?
We can do the showdown.
We can do the showdown.
God, that was a fast 40 minutes.
Yeah, it was. Let's do the showdown. What do you say? All right, we ask each other trivia questions and we make fun of each other and we do things. So you go first.
Asps.
Very dangerous.
You go first. So shout out to the Enjoy Basketball podcast with Kenny Beecham and all those guys. Love them. And so I got this from them. So since 2015, 2016, okay, which Bulls player has the most games with a plus minus of 10 or better in less than 30 minutes?
Since 2015, 2016,
yes.
A plus minus of 10 or better. Alex Caruso.
Nope.
Oh, I thought I had that absolutely nailed.
No. Really good guess. And then if you get this right, I have the top 3 for like total, and I'll give you the teams.
So it's a bench player.
Yes, or like primarily.
Is it Io?
I would assume with 35, and he's nowhere near closest. All right, so now I'll give you the teams for that these players played on.
So wait, so Io's number 1
for the Bulls.
Oh, for the Bulls.
No,
okay.
he's toward the end of the list.
Okay,
all
so
right.
These are plus minus of 10 in 30 minutes or less.
So this player is a Warrior and leads this stat with 124. He's not currently a Warrior, but he was on the Warriors for a while.
Andre Iguodala.
No, good guess.
Harrison Barnes?
No, didn't play long enough there.
I'm just trying to think of guys who came
off
the
That's
bench.
Not a terrible guess either. No, Harrison Barnes was a starter for them because Iguodala came off the bench.
I don't know about the minutes. So is it Draymond?
Nope. Because he played a ton of minutes.
124 times?
Yeah.
So that's a lot of years.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He played.
Kevon Looney.
It is Kevon Looney with 124. All right. If a Spurs player is next with 120.
And this is since 2015, 2016.
Yeah. So he played there for a long time.
Patty Mills.
It is Patty Mills. Wow. All right. And then last but not least, the Mavericks. And this guy has 111 games. And I got this one right away. I knew it as soon as I saw the Mavericks.
Maxi Kleber.
No, didn't he? He hasn't played there for that long. This guy, I believe, has spent like 12 years there and is still there.
12 years?
Something like that.
Not JJ Barea.
No. Because JJ Barea retired a long time ago.
12 years. And is still there.
Yeah, he's been in Dallas since 2015.
Oh, and I know who he is.
Should. Like, just a rotate very, like, pretty average to slightly above average rotational guy.
This will be a stat that like Naz Reid is going to lead the league forever.
Oh yeah, I don't know. He might already be leading it for the T-Wolves.
I don't know who's the Mavs guy.
Dwight Powell.
Great name.
Yep.
Dwight. Okay, that's a guy. Forever. Yeah, he's easy to forget about.
Yeah, but he's been there for God knows how long.
Yeah, it's a great call.
And he's just like a solid. I mean, not like he's not as good as he used to be, but God, he's 34 already.
All right. Well, I'm going to take that as a good win for me.
No, that was a good performance.
That was pretty good.
I need to step it up.
I've
been going easy on you, or I had to go easy on you because the last couple of ones have been
easy.
No, well, the last couple of ones have been really tricky.
Yeah, this one's really hard today too because James Harden became the first player in NBA history to appear in a Game 7 with 6 different teams.
Wow.
So James Harden appeared in a Game 7 with the Thunder, the Rockets, the Nets, the Sixers, the Clippers, and the Cavs.
That's crazy.
There are 3 players who have appeared in a Game 7 with 5 teams. I will give you the teams.
Okay.
And this is just player 1.
Okay, yeah.
Player 1, Pacers, Jazz, Cavs, Sixers, Bucks.
Pacers, Jazz, Cavs, Sixers, Bucks. George Hill.
Yes. Damn. Okay. Player 2. Hawks, Nets, Heat, Jazz, Rockets.
Hawks, Nets,
Heat, Jazz, Rockets.
I should get this. Rodney Hood. No, because he was in Cleveland with George Hill. Hawks. And I'm assuming it's like 2010s.
Mm-hmm.
I hear Hawks Jazz, but it would have been Jazz Hawks if it was Paul Millsap and he didn't play with that many teams. I'm assuming it's more of a role player.
No, this guy was a really good scorer. This guy at his best was a frontline scorer.
Hawks, Nets?
The Nets, Heat, Jazz, Rockets.
Hawks, then Nets.
I don't know if this is in order.
No, because the last one was.
Okay.
Do player 3. I want to come back to that.
Player 3. The 5 teams.
Yeah.
Rockets, Bucks.
PJ Tucker.
No.
Okay.
Rockets, Bucks, Timberwolves.
Ooh.
Clippers, and Celtics. This is going back a ways now.
Like how far back?
Like 90s.
Say them again.
Rockets, Bucks, Timberwolves, Clippers, and Celtics. His name was mentioned on this podcast already today.
Did I mention him or did you?
I think I mentioned his name.
Was it like the fat guy we were talking about?
No. It was a Bulls coaching candidate.
It's not Jarrett Jack, is it? Wait. Hold on.
Rockets, Bucks.
Darvin Ham.
Nope.
No?
Timberwolves, Clippers.
Sam Cassell.
Sam Cassell.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, that would have been tough.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have gotten that if you didn't say
right.
it.
And
All
this is tough too.
The other one, this one I should get. I was thinking Damari Carroll, but he played for Toronto.
Carroll. Hawks, Nets, Heat, Jazz, Rockets. And I probably he's probably at his peak with the Hawks, I think.
Okay.
And he has his first name and last name start with the same letter.
Hawks,
Nets,
Heat,
Jazz, Rockets.
Not Kyle Korver.
Nope.
Same era or a little earlier?
Yeah, same era, a little earlier, maybe right around there.
So I'm thinking like those
close
like
letter.
I'm thinking
there's a letter right next to Kyle Korver.
M.
Other way.
J. He's a good scorer.
Yeah.
Oh, ISO Joe.
Joe Johnson.
Yeah.
Very good. Nicely done. That's
no. He was. I was thinking worse than that. I was thinking like Lou Williams, but then you said that wouldn't have worked out.
Joe Johnson's a real good player. Yeah. Yeah.
One of he's.
Isn't he still playing in the Big Three?
Probably. I mean, he just loves the game.
Yeah.
He and DeMar DeRozan, very similar players.
Interesting.
Like kind of like
Joe's a better pure.
Yeah, and DeMar is Joe Johnson's a better ball handler, and he's a slightly better shooter, but DeMar's got a little bit more like, you know.
Yeah, he's got more funk.
Yeah, DeMar is a really interesting Hall of Fame case.
It sure sounds like he's going to make it regardless. Everybody wants him to make. Everybody loves the guy. You know,
he's your favorite player's favorite player.
That's Nico Horner. Damn it. That's
hey man.
That's Nico Horner.
Watch out for those.
That's a thing right now. And that is going to be it today for the Organizations Win Championships podcast. Dan Bernstein, Jason Bernstein here on 312 Sports.
Organizations Win Championships, a Chicago Bulls podcast with Jason and Dan Bernstein on 312 Sports.